give you some ideas about what you can do to survive the next 2 years. Start preparing now, not when you need options, ideas, understandings. You don't want any of that when you really need it. You want it when you don't need it, because then when you need it, it's there. We are going into potentially one of the worst economic downturns in my lifetime. We're definitely in a recession, but what's unique about this recession is we have inflation, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down going into a recession. Like, that's like a double whammy. That's like bootloader for full-blown depression. Some ways to protect yourself. The first core fundamental way to protect yourself is preserve cash. So cut back all your spending. Anything you don't need, don't buy it. Preserve as much cash as possible. Make sure your income is secure. Anything that you can do to generate income, do that. So cash is king. Cash in your mind. That's going to be the best thing. Now, you might have to quickly move that over to Bitcoin or whatever. I mean, I hope it doesn't get that bad, because then we have hyperinflation and it's going to be really bad. Generally cash. And I consider Bitcoin that too, but that's me. That's personal. You got to figure that out for yourself. To generate cash, you either don't spend it when you would have spent it, or you sell something or work in some way to generate income. That's the only way. You want to do both. You want to be selling anything you don't need, and you want to also be cutting back on your spending. Inflation is going hard. It's going to keep going this way. More cash is like having more hearts in the game. You know, Mario hearts, extra lives. Because we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it can get really bad. We can see hyperinflation. We can see the dollar completely collapse. It's possible. Supply chain issues, food. I mean, we're talking about legit scarcity, something that we've never seen. We will get that. We can get that. I mean, it's already that way in other parts of the world right now. And it will be that way in other parts of the world, almost everywhere in the world at some point, one way or the other. That's history, right? Stop eating out, go outside, exercise, stretch, drink water, read good books, lounge around, be bored, disconnect, more time with loved ones, go to the park, sit on a bench like Keanu and eat a homemade sandwich, start a garden. Stop buying designer shit because nobody cares, okay? Literally nobody cares. Trade in your overpriced car and drive used or not at all. Sell random shit from your house. Donate stuff and get the tax write-off. Get a part-time job. Write. Learn history. Read books. Sex. Take long walks. Write a screenplay. Learn. And most important of all, funnel all extra savings into Bitcoin. I mean, there's so many things to do that don't cost any money, right? A lot of times we default to that because it's like easy. Let's just go to this restaurant, or let's just buy a movie, which at this point is like, movie going is expensive. It's basically eating a meal. You can go outside, go to a park, you can take walks, you can exercise. You can literally do a million things, and it doesn't require money. Look at all the ridiculous spending that has crept into your life that you just accept as a given. I just do that. I go out every Friday night and I spend this much on drinks and this much on food, whatever. But then if you just didn't do it, wow, like, that's amazing. It's as simple as that. You just don't do it. For some people, that's a lot. That's thousands of dollars. For some, tens of thousands. But for most of us, it's hundreds, maybe creeping into the thousands. Like, if you stopped all shopping and all eating out, I know people where that's easily $1,500 a month. Think of cash, wealth preservation right now, and then hoard as much as you can. Bitcoin, maybe a little bit of silver and gold and cash, all very liquid instruments that you can use to buy things. I mean, that then becomes investing. So if that's not really in your purview, then just preserve cash because you're going to need it. But if you are an investor or aspiring to become one, now it's time. There's going to be some major deals. There's going to be some major opportunities. You buy when there's blood in the streets, as they say. You buy when everyone is fearful. That's when you buy. That's when you get greedy. It's the famous Warren Buffett quote. Take this as an opportunity to strengthen your lifestyle, your spending, your investing, everything. Strengthen your mindset about money. Maybe you're a little bit too lax, maybe this, maybe that. It's easy to fall into these spending routines that we then accept as that's just what I do. And then we get hedonically adapted to them. And then we need something newer. It's just the typical drug dependency addict process. Literally the same one. Take it as time to simplify your life. Take it as a time to disconnect. Get back to nature. Get back to your nature. Friends and family, loved ones. The average married couple has sex once a week. Maybe make that twice. Some people, it's every day. If we don't enter a major economic recession or depression, if they print a bunch and like kind of pushes it out for a few years, I mean, it's coming eventually. There's always a reckoning. Okay, that's just basic economics. That's the law of thermodynamics, physics of the universe. Things always come back. You cannot get something from nothing. There's always a cost. Everything. Okay, it's just energy transfer. So it's coming, but let's say we push it off for a few years. You will not be upset that you do that planning, that you cut that spending, that you now have more dry powder to buy things or to maybe go on a trip or do the thing. Or maybe you finally save enough to quit that job that you can't stand and it's wrecking your mental and physical health. Like, there's a million examples here. All right. You're not ever going to be in a position where you're worse off because you have more savings and or assets. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. Take this as an opportunity to tighten up, to focus, to think, to really hustle. Now's the time to be productive. It'll benefit you and all of society later, because that's what we need right now. We need a restricting mentality around cutting out excess bull crap. And that's like financially, but that's also physically, mentally. It's what we let into our lives. It's politics. It's all this gender nonsense. Like, just let it go. Poof, gone. Literally, poof, gone. The second you decide it is. Get the Better Human newsletter over at thebetterhuman.co and support the show wildfoods.co. Use code WildCEO for whole food supplements and foods to support your lifestyle, your brain, your body, your health. Get the best ingredients in the world from small producers around the world, small farmers over at wildfoods.co. Use code WildCEO.